Hey dudes, my name is Riertz and welcome back to another country video. And in today's video you will find out how expensive is it to live in Lisbon in Portugal. I have not yet been to Lisbon or Portugal, although it is on my list because it's warm there and in the pictures it looks really beautiful. When I was in high school I met some Portuguese foreign exchange students that came to my school and all of them seemed really nice to me. And I do have some colleagues at work who are from Portugal and they're also really nice. So this video is for all of you guys. So why Lisbon? Because whenever I imagine myself finally settling down and staying in one place forever, I always think about a warm place. And I already have done all the nice sunny places that I've visited, so next in line was Portugal and Lisbon. The temperatures are warm enough throughout the year and it never goes below 0 degrees, so the idea of not seeing snow anymore is great. Probably some of you like snow and mountains and skiing and all that stuff, but I just hate cold. But I'm also very interested to know which countries you want to live in, because mostly I do make these videos for you. So leave a comment in the comment section for me to know which country I should talk about next. Lisbon is the capital and the largest city in Portugal with approximately 547,000 people living in it. And about 3 million people live in Lisbon's metropolitan area, which consists of approximately 27% of country's population. Just so you know, Portugal is part of European Union and the national currency in Portugal is euros. So for this video I'm just gonna leave it in euros. In case you want other currencies, leave it in the comment section for me to know, because at the moment all the results are quite mixed. Nothing really changes, the concept stays the same. In this video you will find out the prices for food, rent and utilities, public transport, salary and taxes, and leisure time activities and their costs. And at the end of the video, just to make the video longer, I am gonna talk about the fun fact about Lisbon. Let's not waste any of your time and talk about Lisbon and Portuguese foods. Portugal and Lisbon are based next to Atlantic Ocean, so most of the Lisbon's favorite dishes are seafood. I personally used to be really picky about seafoods or anything that smelled fishy. Anyways, I really hate the smell of fish, but since I became vegan, I don't have to pick at all. Some of the viewers of these videos sometimes ask me if the places I talk about have vegan or vegetarian options in these cities. So I did my research, and just like in most of the places in the world, vegan foods and vegan cafes are becoming more and more popular. And yes, also in Lisbon. So you will find enough places that will serve you tasty vegan meals in Lisbon. If you enjoy eating out, Lisbon is still one of the best values in Europe. There are restaurants that you can eat at under 10 euros for 2 people and leave completely full. But just like in most touristy places, there are restaurants that will try to cheat you. So one piece of advice would be to get out of the most touristy places and check online reviews before choosing a place to dine in. So if you're eating out, breakfast will cost you 3 to 6 euros. Dinner will be 7 to 10 euros in inexpensive restaurants. There's very little fast foods and takeaway places in Lisbon, but there are options if you're willing to look. There aren't any McDonald's restaurants in the city center. Shocking. But if you do find one, the McDonald's large meals will cost you from 5 to 7 euros. If you want to drink something with your meals, beer, coffee or soft drinks will cost you about 2 euros. Groceries in stores are relatively cheap. Ciggies will cost you about 5 euros. The cheapest beer starts from 50 cents. The cheapest wine starts from 1 euro. It might not be the tastiest wine, but hey, any wine for €1 is good wine in my book. Also, Lisbon is blessed with not one, but 14 different little grocery shops. So that means if you buy groceries in Lidl, you pretty much don't have to pay for food in Lisbon. And now we're moving on to renting cost. One bedroom flat in Lisbon city center starts from 650 euros per month, and the fancier flats are about 1,100 euros per month, which seems a little expensive to me. Living in the city center is always more convenient, but it's also more pricier. So how about a flat outside city center of Lisbon? As always, living outside the city center is cheaper, but you have to consider public transport costs, especially if you're gonna work in the city center, which is quite likely because that's where the most jobs are. Renting a one-bedroom flat outside Lisbon city center will start from 450 euros and will go up to 800 euros per month. Of course, as always, you could find it even cheaper or more expensive, but these are the average costs for average flats that are not made out of gold and don't look like trash either. Also add the utility costs, which range from 60 to 150 euros per month, and the best possible internet will cost you 40 euros per month. Portuguese television is free for all to view, but you will have to pay a small Portugal TV license fee that will be included in your electricity bill. How small? Nobody knows. After all that, you also have to include that as of January 1st, 2019, every visitor of Lisbon will have to pay 2 euros per night city tax. But that only applies to tourists and not official residents. So for now, it seems like the food prices are good, the apartments cost very similar to Scotland, but are they getting a lot of money? Before we start talking about money, I want to talk about public transport and its costs. Although Lisbon is a very walkable city, it has a very extensive and diverse public transport system. You can travel around Lisbon in buses, metros, trams, trains, taxis, boats, and funiculars. The Lisbon Metro is the fastest way to get around the city and a good option if you're traveling long distances. It is considered to be one of the best kept and the cleanest metros in Europe. What about the Glasgow Metro? I think that's pretty good as well, but Lisbon Metro has two drawbacks. The first one is that it's really difficult to change the lines because there's very few intersections between them. And the second is that it doesn't run past through the most popular tourist attractions or the breathtaking neighborhoods. But if you're planning to live there and not just go there for a visit, Metro would be a great option because it would be less crowded with tourists and it only costs 145 per ticket if you have their local travel card. Another great way to travel around Lisbon is buses. Lisbon has a fleet of 600 buses and 146 different routes. You will pay more for public transport if you buy the tickets on board rather than the prepaid cards. On board, one-way prices are 2 euros on the buses, so getting the local travel card could save you some money. The trams in Lisbon are not only the most beautiful means of public transport, but it's also one of the most popular tourist attractions. Portugal's capital currently has 5 different routes, 58 trams, and 40 of them are old vintage streetcars. I mean, look at this thing. Looks like a pretty fun way to travel around Lisbon to me. And just because it is a tourist attraction, a ticket on these trams will cost you just under 3 euros. And then Lisbon has trains. There are 4 train lines in Lisbon serving the city center and the suburbs in case you want to travel a bit further outside the city center. Or you could use it, as previously mentioned, if you decide to rent a flat outside the city center just to save some money. The tickets on trains start from 130 per person. Then we also have funiculars, which actually look pretty cool and I would like to try it in the future. Maybe one day. Who knows? And in case you get there before me, the price on board is 370 for a round trip on the funicular. Unlike most places in the world, taxis in Lisbon are actually very affordable means of public transport. A taxi in Lisbon will cost you from 6 to 9 euros for trips that you want to make in the city. So if there's 2 of you traveling around Lisbon, it might be a great alternative because it's gonna be cheaper than buying 3 to 4 different buses and subway tickets. And obviously the trip will be much more pleasurable and faster. I think I remember it was the same situation in Latvia when they suddenly raised the prices for public transport. So if there would be more than 2 of you, 3 people would go to the city center. It was cheaper to take the taxi than to take the old, cold, disgusting trams. However, I do advise you to be careful with the taxis because some taxi drivers might want to rip you off if they find out that you're a tourist. And the last one is the boats or ferries. Lisbon is at the edge of Atlantic Ocean, so you will have the opportunity to take the boat. A boat trip in Lisbon could be very interesting just to take some more photographies from a different angle of the city, or it's just a beautiful way to enjoy the sunset. And the prices are great as well. They start from 120 per ride, because these are short transit trips. We did take a very similar ferry ride in Malta between two different cities, and I have to say that the experience is definitely worth the price of a cheeseburger. So we found out all the prices, but how much money can you make in Lisbon? Let's talk about salaries and taxes. The official minimum salary as of 2019 is 600 euros per month. Hey Google, how much is 600 times 12?
600 times 12 is 7,200.
And it's 7,200 a year. Average wage in Lisbon is considerably higher than the official minimum salary. The average salary in Lisbon is 860 euros per month, which is the highest in Portugal, which is 10,320 euros a year, but it could strongly differ because of your experience and the field that you work in. And if you're still here, let's talk about leisure time activities. Your typical gym will cost you about 35 euros per month, which is really important to me because I already went to gym twice in my life now. And a cinema ticket will cost you about 7 euros per person. Or you could just wait a couple of months and then just download it illegally from online. I'm just saying. Lisbon, Portugal's capital city, is one of Europe's most historical and symbolical capital cities. It offers wealth of history, culture, entertainment, and places to explore. It offers many things to see and do no matter what your interests are. I believe it's just like Rome, that you don't need to find specific tourist locations, but just having a walk around the city is an adventure in itself. I mean, taking the tram, the funicular, the boat, even though that's just public transport, is an attraction already. Plus, every street and every building looks so interesting that it will make your Insta, Snapchats look amazing. Or whatever you cool kids do nowadays. And the fun fact of the day about Lisbon is nothing. I could not find any interesting facts about Lisbon. Okay, this one isn't fun, but it is a bit interesting for a book nerd like me. One of the smallest bookshops in the world is located in Lisbon. Livraria do Samao is the smallest bookshop in the world with only 3.8 square meters. But apparently it can hold 4,000 different books, and it is so small that if a customer wants to walk in, the shop owner has to step outside on the street. And speaking of small things, I have the world's smallest library. Kindle review coming soon. Now that's it for today's video. If you think that any of the information was incorrect, you're welcome to correct me down in the comment section. And now tell me, after watching this video, would you be interested to moving to Lisbon or Portugal or not? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it useful, leave a like. If you want to see more of these country videos, I'll leave a playlist right here. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!